Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and after a massive hiatus due to the pandemic, The Walking Dead is back with its season finale. Now throughout this video, we're going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about the entry, as well as our thoughts on where things could be going in the future. There will be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to check out the episode yet, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. Make sure you drop a thumbs up if you enjoy the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for breakdowns like this every day. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into the video. Okay, so the finale very much deals with the culmination of the Whisperer War. Alpha is dead, and the last time we saw Beta, he was descending on the abandoned hospital that the survivors had set up as their base. We pick up in the midst of this with the undead at the door, but there is hope in the unity that the four central locations have. I love the little fist thing that Gabriel does to count the kingdoms, and throughout history, fists have been used as a symbol of defiance. Now, it's been a long time since episode 15 dropped, and you may have forgotten exactly what was going on. Basically, yeah, quick catch up. There are several survivors out in the wilderness looking for forces that will help them, and alongside Maggie, Princess was also discovered. Kelly told Carol that her superpower was her going off on her own, but like she learned, no one is an island, and we are all stronger together. This is exemplified in Eugene's arc in this entry, as initially he seems completely defeated. However, Ezekiel helps him find his strength and pulls him back on his feet. I think this episode definitely feels like it's about community, and even though they're living on borrowed time, you really get the feeling of the show's heart, which I felt was missing throughout the prior season. This aesthetic of trying to bring everyone together massively plays into the ending of the episode, and though we don't see this group as much as we should, the way things end, it makes it seem like they somewhat completed their goal. What's around the corner, we don't know yet, but I'll discuss that later in the video. Now, there's more family talk here than a Fast and Furious film, and I think seeing Lydia building her relationship with Carol is a mark of just how far she's come. She's not looking for another mother, but she's found one in her and a father figure in Negan. I have to say, I miss these guys, and it is great to see them back. Now, Negan gives Lydia her mother's mask and says that he's pretty much taking the easy way out. Lydia has this option too, and she could easily blend in with the undead, but unlike him, she chooses to stay behind with the community. Now, Negan of course comes back later in the episode, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. Now, the plan is to lead the undead off the edge of a cliff and leave the Death Stranding, and a lot of the entry centers around the group formulating a plan before they enact it. That Death Stranding pun was one of my worst, I'm sorry. Now, it really feels like the calm before the storm for a lot of the episode, and even when they come face to face with the dead, they tend to use their wits more than their fists. With the guts of the walkers, they once more create camouflage for themselves, and though this has been done several times in the show before, I don't think it's ever been this tense. Never before have we seen the survivors going against an army like this, and though it isn't balls to the wall action, it's still a thrilling watch. Using archers for cover, the brave survivors head out into the herd and manage to draw them away from the hospital. However, the Whisperers manage to stab Beatrice, which makes her scream out in agony. It's heartbreaking seeing Carol having to leave her behind, because the duty that she has means more than her death. Now, it's at this point that Lydia arrives with her mother's mask and says that she wants to help. Playing the Talking Heads song Burning Down the House, they lead the horde away from the hospital whilst taking out the Whisperers as they try and sabotage their plan. I really hope that this was some foreshadowing that would end up with the survivors burning down the house, as Beta thought he was speaking to some talking walker heads. Unfortunately though, the showrunners don't love crap puns as much as I do, and it's just a random song. It's here where things really pick up, and the Whisperers manage to shut down the wagon whilst they storm the hospital. This forces Gabriel to remain behind to buy the others time. Just before they're about to kill him, Maggie arrives, and elsewhere we see that Negan has actually gone after Beta. He knocks him on his back, and Daryl stabs him in his eyes in what is a completely brutal scene. The character begins to hallucinate that he's being surrounded almost like Jesus, and it is quite a fitting farewell. He's unmasked and Negan recognizes him and asks if Daryl knows who he is. He replies, yeah, nobody. But as we know, the character was actually a rock star before the world went to hell, and one of his LPs was even spotted in Fear the Walking Dead as a cool little Easter egg. Now, due to the wagon being dismantled, someone has to sacrifice themselves and lead the walkers over the edge. Whilst Lydia was originally going to do this, Carol takes over this herself, and this again calls back to her superpower being her ability to go off on her own. She's just about to end her life, however she's saved by Lydia, who of course embraces her as a mother figure now, and we watch as the Horde all walk off the edge of the cliff, like when you used to get bored in Lemmings and send everyone to their death. Lydia tosses the mask over the edge too, symbolically throwing her mother's hold over her along with the Horde, and the survivors are finally free with a looming threat over their heads now gone. In the end, Maggie is reunited with the group properly, namely Judith, and I'd actually love to see her become her maternal figure now that Michonne has stepped away. Maggie of course delivered Judith from Laurie, so there is a lot that they can do here. Now we still don't know who her companion is, but make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Negan has remained behind too, and when this season first started, I never thought I'd actually like him as much as I do, but at the moment, he's by far my favourite character. Finally, we get Carol and Daryl, and as we now know, the two are going to go off and do their own thing together at some point in a spin-off show. Now this won't actually be coming out until 2023, so there's still a lot of things that could happen in between now and then. We don't have very many plot details just yet, but we do know that it will predominantly be a road show that centers around them going out into the world to see who's left. Norman Reedus said the pair will encounter a revolving group of people, so every week we'll have a different cast of characters that they bump into. This sort of monster of the week thing will allow for some really big name actors to come on board and do standalone work, so you know there's a lot of potentials that could happen here. Now elsewhere we see Connie waking up in the woods completely broken, and she collapses on the floor before being found by Virgil. It's sort of like history repeating itself, and though Virgil might not be the bad guy that he once was, I'm still really worried for Connie because she's in a very vulnerable position. I think Virgil will wrestle with his inner nature, and he could even be tempted to turn back to his old ways. Because of the way that he picks Connie up, he actually has the potential to paint himself out as a good Samaritan. I kinda got those sort of vibes from him here, and in the story of the Samaritan, he of course comes across someone in trouble and helps them out. Now that could mean that he's actually going to redeem himself and will heal her, or like we said, turn into a villain once more. I guess we will see, but the episode ends on a huge cliffhanger that actually lets us know where the show is heading from now on. Eugene and co arrive at their destination to find it seemingly abandoned, but rather than turning back, they decide to press on and find more like-minded people. He really is one horny dude, and just as they have a moment of levity, they're surrounded by some Power Ranger looking dudes who seem just like something out of a time travel movie. Now this is actually the army of the Commonwealth, who have been teased for quite a while now. The Commonwealth are actually a massive community that's made up of 50,000 survivors, and in this infrastructure they've built a massive base of shops, commodities, and pretty much got things back to the way that they were before the apocalypse. People have jobs, there's banks, barbers, and it's basically all the good things we had before 2020. Now, though you would think that this would be amazing, as with all societies, there's a structure in it in which the higher ups rule over the lower classes, and they can often be corrupt and selfish. The Commonwealth view themselves as superior to all, and this means that they don't really accept others in. Heck, these soldiers are intimidating enough as it is, and I doubt that they're gonna be getting a warm welcome. Now this weekend also brings with it the release of The Walking Dead World Beyond, which could even be taking place in the Commonwealth itself. I haven't had a chance to check out the show just yet, but I do know that it's set 10 years after the apocalypse, in a time when society has pulled itself together and learned to live alongside the walkers. I don't want to go too in depth on it, as like I said I haven't seen it, and I could say something completely idiotic, but let me know in the comments below if it's connected, as I'm sure there are definitely some avenues here that they can go. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode, so make sure you comment below and let me know. If you enjoy this video and want something else to watch, then definitely check out our breakdown of The Boys, which is going to be linked at the end. We go over the latest episode and point out all the Easter eggs and things that you missed, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. Don't forget we're also giving away 3 copies of the Marvel Phase 1 box set, and all you have to do to be on with a chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications on, and drop a comment below. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 30th of October, so make sure you get involved. If you want to support the channel and get to see content early, then please consider clicking the join button below. You can also come chat to us on a Discord server linked in the description, or at Heavy Spoilers on Twitter. Thanks for making it until the end of the video. You've been the best. I've been Paul. I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.